This story is about a teacher who is unable to keep himself away from a beautiful young girl. The movie begins with a girl named Cairo, whose parents live in another country. Cairo lives alone in a Salm-san house where writing has become her hobby. Now, while passing through the jungles, Cairo reaches her class where she meets Jonathan Miller. Jonathan is a middle-aged man who could not become a successful writer, so he became a teacher. When Cairo comes to the class, Jonathan asks her to read some books given in the bus. But Cairo had already read all those books. And then another girl named Winnie comes there who is a student in the class as well as Cairo's friend. Now, both of them go out to eat something, and then Jonathan sees an adult book in Cairo's luggage. Now, Jonathan's friend Morris also comes there, and he takes that adult book from Jonathan and starts reading it. Morris and Jonathan go to Cairo. Jonathan was shocked to see a copy of a book, and at night, Jonathan's wife, whose name is B, is busy in her work. Jonathan tells her to attract her attention that today in the class, a student was reading my book, and then B got a call from her work. After the call, B and Jonathan drink together. They gradually come very close, and then B gets a call again, and once again Jonathan is left like this. And then the next day he tells all this to Morris, and Morris starts making fun of him, and then both of them see Cairo coming out of the forest. Jonathan was watching him very carefully since last night he asked Cairo that, "Don't you feel scared while coming out of the forest and hearing this?" Cairo replied that, "I am the most scary thing in those forests." And then Jonathan started laughing after hearing Cairo's answer, and then inside the school, Vinny puts her book down. Morris knows that she has done all this knowingly, and then he asks Winnie to tell him what she wants. And Vinny was teasing Boris after reaching there, and Cairo also saw the same thing. Cairo says to Vinny that you are absolutely crazy. And then both of them go to Cairo's house. Cairo was worried about a question of her college admission, in which she has to tell about the biggest achievement of her life. Both of them discussed many things there, but nothing was unique. And then Beanie said that you should have an affair with your teacher, and then write something about it. Then Cairo says that Jonathan is 20 years older than me. Beanie tells her that all these things are normal, and Jonathan Bethera is a gentleman who is perfect for Cairo's first time. Beanie tells Cairo that she has to have an affair with him. Jonathan started talking about how he looks at Cairo in class. Cairo gets shy on hearing all this, and her interest in Jonathan increases. Then the next day, Cairo started staring at Jonathan in class, and then Jonathan comes to her and says that, "I want to meet you outside the class." Now, after class, Jonathan invites Morris for dinner, and Morris tries a dance step while leaving from there. And after he left, Jonathan started trying his steps, and then Cairo comes there. Both of them laughed and avoided this topic. Jonathan was so impressed with the paragraph written by Cairo that he remembered it thoroughly. Cairo also saw that he paid a lot of attention to his paragraph, and Cairo also became happy with this. Jonathan wanted Cairo to write a short story in the style of his favorite author if he could do it. If she gives her the answer, Jonathan will give her full marks. And after hearing this, Cairo agrees. Cairo says that I have also read your book, and I also remember your paragraphs word by word, like you. Jonathan is very happy after hearing this, and he calls Cairo to a place for the weekend where they will discuss about his assignment. Now in the evening, Boris, Jonathan, and his wife went for dinner. Here, Beanie comes to take their order, and then B tells Jonathan that this is the same girl about whom you talk. And then Jonathan says that she is not a girl, that girl is Cairo. But here, it was clearly visible that Beanie was jealous of Jonathan's interest in Cairo. B is getting very angry. To vent her anger, B starts insulting Jonathan in front of Morris, that you no longer have the qualities of a writer and you have not written anything in the last few years. It is not written, you are just an ordinary teacher. Now on the weekend, Cairo went to the place told by Jonathan, and then Jonathan came and sat next to her. And then a man started reading a poem there. Jonathan was listening to that poem very attentively. After the poem, Cairo lit a cigarette outside, and Jonathan also started sharing the cigarette with him. Now the next day, Cairo comes in front of Jonathan wearing hot clothes, and when Boris asked about her, Cairo did not answer anything. And when Boris left from there, Cairo started sitting and talking with Jonathan. Now the closeness between them was increasing a lot, and then after this, Jonathan was going to the class, and then also a message came from his wife to go out somewhere. Inside the class, Cairo tells Jonathan about her favorite author and in whose style she will write the story, but Jonathan was in a hurry to go home, so he agreed in a hurry. After that, Benny climbs on Jonathan's table and starts teasing Cairo, and then Boris comes there to meet Jonathan. Binny starts teasing Boris too. She hides his phone in her clothes, but here Cairo was not able to find his phone. On the other hand, Jonathan's plan to go with his wife got cancelled because both of them were busy in their work. And then Jonathan gets a call from Cairo. Actually, Jonathan had brought Cairo's phone in his bag by mistake. Jonathan and his wife's plan got cancelled anyway. So Jonathan goes out to give her the phone, and as soon as he reaches outside Cairo's house, it starts raining. There are lines out the door. It's raining in Cairo on Cairo's house. And Cairo comes towards Jonathan wearing a hot dress, and then they start looking at each other. And after this, they both kiss each other. After this, Jonathan comes back to his home. And then Cairo sends a message to Jonathan. Jonathan's wife says that, "I am not able to do my work in your presence." Then Jonathan got up from there and went to his small cabin. Here Jonathan printed the story sent by Cairo, and Jonathan started reading it. Actually, friends, this is an adult story in which Jonathan and Cairo are talked about. Jonathan got excited after seeing it. Then the next day, Jonathan goes to class. Then Jonathan does not call Cairo like he used to call him earlier. Cairo asks what happened to you. Jonathan says that he did not like his story at all. There were a lot of wrong things written in it. Then Cairo says that whatever was written in it was true. It is all about us. Then Jonathan refuses. Jonathan says that there is nothing between us. We both are a teacher and a student and nothing else. And hearing this, Cairo's heart breaks completely. Then Jonathan says that if not write all this, then write it or else I will fail you. Then Cairo says that my story is perfect. You are just afraid. What I could not write, you wrote it. To show Jonathan down, Cairo calls him a bad writer. Cairo tells Jonathan that if you have guts, then fail me. Cairo goes home crying and starts drinking with Beanie. On the other hand, tension was clearly visible on Jonathan's face, and then Jonathan's wife asks him what happened. Jonathan tells her about Cairo's story. She also gets excited after hearing the line of the story, and as soon as they both could do something there, Boris comes there, and once again Jonathan remains like this. On the other hand, Cairo and Beanie are talking. Cairo tells Beanie that Jonathan was only pretending to be close to her. Cairo tells Beanie to message Boris to divert her attention. Beanie starts teasing Boris, but her words have no effect on Boris. Cairo takes a decision to draw his attention. Both of them take off their clothes and click a photo and send it to Boris. When Boris sees all this, he immediately leaves Jonathan's house. Then, Jonathan's wife gets a call from Jonathan's school. Cairo and him were found out there. His wife is shocked to know that all this is happening because of a story written by a student. She asks Jonathan if there is anything else between him and that girl, but Jonathan clearly denies it. Then the next day, Cairo does not come to class. She was in the principal's office. Prince Papal asked Cairo and Jonathan what was going on. Cairo told everything clearly, that we drank a lot together and we kept meeting outside the school also. And when Jonathan's turn came, he was hesitating to answer the questions. Seeing this hesitation, the vice principal understood everything and suspended Jonathan from his job. Outside the office, Boris explains to Jonathan that you should have seen your limit and you are in this condition just because of crossing the limit. After saying all this, Boris leaves from there. After going home, when Jonathan told that he has been fired from the job, his wife started getting suspicious of him. She again started thinking whether something was going on between you two. But then Jonathan again refused. His wife was not ready to die after seeing all this. His wife asked Jonathan whether he had any feelings for that girl in his heart. Then he said that he had no feelings for her. The fight between the two increases a lot, and his wife decides to take divorce from Jonathan. And after this, Winnie meets Cairo. Winnie tells Cairo that whatever you did, Jonathan has lost his job, but Cairo is not affected by this. She says that Jonathan underestimated me. Now he will know who I am. In the end, Cairo says that neither he has a job, nor his wife, nor will he be able to write books. So friends, this story ends here. If Jonathan had seen his limits, all this would not have happened. Thank you very much, friends, for watching the video. If you want to see more such videos, then click on this video here.